Benjamin Netanyahu has two main places he calls home. One is Beit Agin, the official residence located in Jerusalem, where every Israeli prime minister is meant to live. The other is a private seaside villa in Caesarea, a wealthy town north of Tel Aviv. But here's the twist. Netanyahu is not living in either of them right now. He has not returned to Beit Agin because the building is undergoing massive renovations, which he reportedly believes are long overdue. After leaving the Prime Minister's residence, he relocated to his Caesarea villa, but even that didn't prove entirely safe. In 2023, the area was hit by a missile attack that landed dangerously close to the home. So, if the official residence is under construction and the private one is under threat, where exactly does Netanyahu live? How does a leader, especially one at the center of a major war, protect himself and his family? Well, that is what we are here to find out. But first, to gain some perspective, let us start by looking at these two residences, and the first is Beit Agin. This has been the designated residence for all Israeli prime ministers. This property is located at the corner of Balfour Street, central Jerusalem. Apart from the main house, it includes guard booths, offices, and multiple layers of fencing. These security fences and walls give it a fortress-like look, often criticized by some as being too militarized for a residence. For 12 years straight, that is from 2009 to 2021, Benjamin Netanyahu resided here during his tenure as the Prime Minister of Israel. In 2021, when elections were held, he lost power after the leaders of the opposition united against him. During the 12 years, his stay at Beit was however marred by a lot of controversies, especially regarding his spending habits. A 2015 report by Israel's State Comptroller revealed, for instance, that even though there was a full-time cook employed at the residence, the Netanyahus ordered over 92,000 shekels worth of restaurant takeout in just 1 year. That's about $24,000. That's not all. Between 2010 and 2013, they allegedly spent 359,000 shekels, more than $100,000 on outside meals, some of which were claimed using falsified invoices to cover up that the spending broke the rules. In 2019, his wife, Shira Netanyahu, ended up pleading guilty in a criminal case and paid back 55,000 shekels after being charged with misusing state funds. That is around $15,000. These weren't just headlines, they were personal. Because while ordinary Israelis were tightening their belts, working extra hours, and paying high taxes, their prime minister's family was living in comfort, funded by the very people they were supposed to serve. So, some of these controversies really stirred up the public and gave fuel to his critics. That is why when elections were held in 2021, Netanyahu's party Likud actually got the most votes, but not enough to form a majority government on its own. That opened the door for his rivals. Opposition politicians from across the political spectrum saw a chance to join forces and push him out. And that's exactly what they did. Netanyahu was removed from office and he had to move out of Beit Agin. He returned to his private villa in Caesarea, a fancy beach town where he and his family have lived for years. The opposition leaders that removed him from office broke apart, and when fresh elections were held in 2022, he regained power but did not move back to Beit due to renovations which had started in 2021. But even Caesarea turned out to be not as safe as it seemed. In October 2023, during the war between Israel and Hamas, the Al-Qassam Brigades, Hamas's military wing, claimed that they had fired rockets at Netanyahu's villa in Caesarea. The rocket didn't hit the house directly, but it landed nearby, close enough to raise serious concerns. Although Netanyahu wasn't there at the time, the message was loud and clear. Even his private home wasn't off limits. So, there is Beit Agin, which is currently undergoing renovations, so he can't stay there. Then there is his private villa at Caesarea, which is turning out to be exposed, so it's not entirely safe to live there. In that case, how does he guarantee the safety of his family and himself as a leader? Well, in the meantime, he has been moving between many undisclosed locations within the country, but in the long run, there has been plans of a new residence. This new plan is called the Shira project. It's a government-backed proposal to build a combined official residence and office for the Prime Minister, all in one secure location. The idea is to move away from old buildings that need constant upgrades and instead create a modern, high-tech, and heavily protected compound from the ground up. The new site would be built within the government complex in Jerusalem, right next to key ministries and security offices. It would include underground bunkers, advanced surveillance, and everything needed to run the country safely during war or crisis. In 2024, the government approved 37.5 million shekels in funding to start the project, but even now, it's still just a blueprint. Experts estimate 6 years or more before it could be finished. Since the Shira project is expected to take several years to complete, Netanyahu's short-term plan might simply be to return to Beit Aryan once the ongoing renovations are done. The estimated completion date for those upgrades is sometime in late 2025, but until then, and especially during these tense periods of war, Netanyahu has been operating from undisclosed temporary locations, often close to military bases or government command centers. These spots are chosen for their security, not their comfort.